Hello and welcome to another episode of Honest to a Malt with myself, Duncan Donuts, and Mike, aka Two Birds. Welcome, Mike.
Hola.
Hola. Yeah, nice to be reacquainted. A couple of days after the last one.
It's been hours.
Hours.
Since we spoke.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I have some big events happening on this week. I'm going to be having a second baby, so we're banking a pod, aren't we?
What? It's one in the bank.
One in the bank, yeah. Store one up. So what's the episode title today, Mike?
So it's episode 43, and it is, you're only supposed to blow the bloody cork off.
Bit of Michael Caine there. Lovely.
Michael Caine, or an Australian Michael Caine. I don't really know. Copied your impression
Do an Aussie.
just before we recorded.
You're only supposed to
G'day,
blow.
mate.
G'day, mate. You're only supposed to blow the
Michael
bloody cork.
Caine.
So it's an
I'm only
episode.
Michael Caine, aren't I?
He's only bloody Michael Caine, isn't he? Eh? It's an episode about open bottles. So we thought we would do a recce on how many open bottles we've got and what we've got opened, because it's a good thing to do, and it gives you an idea kind of how we think about like our open whiskey collection, right? If you call it a collection or if it's just a bunch of bottles in a cupboard, depends, doesn't it? Different for both of us, Mike.
Yeah.
Some
say collection, others say problem, others say shelf.
Yeah. So what have you got in your glass at the moment then?
So in my glass right now, randomly, I've got a Smoke Head 43% Isla single malt. I've literally leaned over, grabbed something out of my sample bucket. I actually quite like this one. I know the sort of guys over there. I want to say Mikey is the brand ambassador. Really nice guy.
Yep.
They've done some good stuff. I quite liked some of their rum Rebel, I think it was.
Yeah.
Didn't like it initially, but it grew on me. And that was one of those ones. Peat and rum worked well together. A lot of their stuff is really, as always from me, good value whiskey. There's an unfiltered one I want to try, which I'm probably going to pick up a bottle of that in the next couple of months. Maybe not as this episode goes on, because I got a few life choices to make. But so that's what's in my glass at the moment. Nothing's been up my arse this week because we've only spoken a couple of days ago. We recorded the last one, so I'm still on my plateau of zen.
Right, good for you.
Yeah. You, on the other hand, I know have had something up your arse all day, but let's go with what's in your glass for now. Cup of tea.
No, I'm having, I've cracked open a new bottle of, since the embargo's ended, I was able to pick up a bottle of the Black Friday 15-year-old Glenkinchie, the Lowland one, which I tried at Kendal. I was pretty desperate to try it again. And I've got it in my hand, so I'm having a sip of that. It's really buttery on the nose, zesty, lots of peaches in there. It's just beautiful, really. And then it's kind of like gentle yet spicy on the palate. I really like it. I thought it was kind of a bit different in its profile to a lot of whiskies that you'd have. And
is that still available, did you say?
It is, but the price has gone back up now. So, yeah, it's no longer at a reduced price. Yeah, it's a proper sale, right, where they put it on sale for a little bit and then put it back up. So, yeah, and this maybe if you speak to them really nicely, see what you can do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was glad you fell off the embargo, as we said, and you bought stuff now. I obviously sent you some stuff again in the last couple of days that my first purchase since the embargo finished, Whiskey Auctioneer, come to a conclusion. So I thought, I'll throw some bids in on some random bottles that are down the cheaper end. I ended up getting 2 bottles, which I did not intend, of the Gaia Flow M, which is like a Japanese blend.
Right.
Basically, it worked out at just shy of 30 quid a bottle. I've got no idea. I think it's probably overpriced for what it is.
Have you looked it up to see what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, to buy it in some of the shops is 70, 80 quid, but I don't think that's true
good,
value. Exactly. And I think the original selling price, it was only available in certain countries and it was like $30. So, hey, it's a Japanese blend. I'm always interested in trying stuff, so I'll let you know what that's like. And if it's rubbish, there's a spare bottle going.
Yeah, I can have that, but I'm not allowed another bottle of antidote to dull, right?
No more antidote to dull. You can have that.
You got 4 of the other ones.
Blend.
Can't have that.
Yeah.
But I can have one of this rubbish Japanese blends. Probably rubbish, right?
I look out for you, bro.
Yeah, thanks for that.
And what's been up your ass?
Not much really. Just I'm a bit achy. I think I've got pneumonia, which basically just means a chest chest cold or infection.
You have not got pneumonia. If you had pneumonia, you wouldn't be doing
I talked to a
5K runs.
I talked to a friend who's a doctor, and they're like, well, pretty much any kind of like chest infection is pneumonia. It's just that's what it's actually called. It's just that if it's bad, we didn't call it that. So I don't know. Ugh. Anyway, I was running over the weekend. I've been doing loads of exercise, but for like over a week, I haven't been able to get rid of this whatever it is. Like, started off as headaches.
Did he buy his doctorate on the internet?
Did she?
Is she a doctor, like a love doctor?
No, like a proper doctor. Yeah.
Really?
Anyway, I don't know. I'm trying to get rid of it, so I'll do my best. That's the only thing that's been annoying.
Strength, booze.
Yeah, cask strength booze. Well, I did speak to I bumped into a couple of friends and they're like, maybe have a whiskey. I'm like, it's not a bad idea, to be fair.
Yeah, it's been ages since I've had one of those. I still think it's because you came off booze for your failed attempt at dry January.
It's nothing to do with that.
It's just ruined your body.
It's nothing.
If you'd have stuck with it and joined in January, you'd be fighting fit right now.
I've been unwell since last Tuesday or something, right? And I still went running. I was skipping. I run like 4 days in a row or something. Yeah, skipping, lots of walking.
Skipping separately or like running around, jumping about
with a skipping rope, jumping rope. Like if you're
like Phoebe out of Friends running through the park. Like
if you're American, if you're from America, you'd say jump rope. But here we call it skipping.
Yes.
So yeah, I've been doing that. So I've got loads of energy. I just don't seem to get rid of it. It's like all on my back. Anyway, it is what it is. What to do? So, but I'm having a nice glass of this Black Friday Lowland, which has got loads of orchard fruits on it as well. Super buttery, super zesty. Kind of has a bit of a sort of magical feel to it, really.
And you're saying that you don't need to review your week to think of anything that's annoyed you?
No,
nothing to review.
Nothing to review.
No, not a single star.
No, but what I will say is, if you enjoy the podcast and all the work that we put into it, feel free to give us a 5-star review. We put hours and hours in, especially Mike. Mike does most of the editing. So Mike, editing takes like 5 to 6 hours for a podcast, which
minimum.
Is done in the evening because we have jobs, right? And then on top of that, we spend our time, jaffing around coming up with musical stuff, also in the evenings. And then on top of that, we have to record the podcast and we've got to spend time with each other. And as you can see, that is a chore, right? So if you enjoy the podcast, give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. We appreciate it. It helps to motivate us to spend all that time producing this content.
Yeah. Or if I've blocked you on Instagram or anything else and annoyed you, give us a 1-star. I challenge you. I don't care. Bring it.
That's the way that I'll stop doing the podcast. if that's what you do, Mike, if you just start winding people up and everyone's like 1-starring just to get back at you because you blocked them and had a rant about them. So yeah, no, don't do that.
Don't. In open bottles, stories flow like a whiskey river.
So we're on to open bottle collections, right? Or what we've got.
Yeah.
So you've got way more than me open. Remember when we started this podcast off and you were talking about having 300 open bottles and people were like mouth on the floor. Now, my understanding is I've got some inside information, little spy that manages to pop down to your shed, check it out from time to time, that you might have trimmed the fat on that a little bit. Is that the case?
Yeah, it's the only fat that's been trimmed in my life, really. So since our podcast with Michael Henry, Michel Henry, and his groundbreaking statement about if it's down to the last third, you've got a month to see it off. There was a lot of bottles that were well into that thirds, probably less than a quarter. So I've tried to see off as many of those as I can. So my numbers have significantly dropped, I would say so. But yeah, they're still pretty up there.
So you did a bit of you had a recce before we started this podcast today, right? Before we started having a chinwag and a drink. Well, I think the way we should do it is look at, for you, kind of total number of bottles for you, and then percentages. So how many you have of like peated or like really fruity whiskey or bourbon or sherry, Scotch sherry.
I mean, I didn't have time to break it down into sherry, etc. So how I broke mine down was peated, bourbon,
American bourbon, or just bourbon cask?
All bourbon's American.
Right. Okay. But so not bourbon cask, you mean bourbon as in
bourbon.
American bourbon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just decent Scotch is how I labelled it. So yeah,
And
an everyday sipper, decent Scotch, bourbon or peated.
Okay, everyday zipper, bourbon, peated.
Decent.
Okay, fair enough. I think I've got something similar, not exactly the same. I've looked at peated, then I've got everyday.
What's your tally for peated? Let's go.
I've got 11 peated bottles open.
I have 51.
Oh my days.
Which shocked me a bit. Because when you look at it, that's probably the highest proportion of my collection is peated whiskey, which I didn't think was the case.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
I do love peat, but I didn't think I actually had that much. Yeah, I do.
I've got 25 open bottles because I've opened up this Black Friday Glenkinchie Lowland, and I've got 11 of 25. So what's that, like 35, 40%, 40% or something like that? And I was surprised as well, to have. I mean, I love peated whiskey, but still, I was surprised that. I think what happens is over the winter, I've smashed a lot of sherry bottles, so I haven't got many sherry, just sherry non-peated whiskies open now. Yeah, because they're mostly gone. So I've got 6 of those, and I've got 5 what I'd categorise as fruity. Well, 1 bourbon. I pretty much always have 1 bourbon open, and that's it. Maybe occasionally I have 2, but that's like it. I just have 1, which tells you kind of what I feel about bourbon. I love bourbon, but like I don't need more than 1 or 2 open. I don't need 10 or 20 or 30. And then 3 everyday drinkers, i.e. lower ABV. Just when you reach in the cupboard, you're like, hey, I just want something that's like 40 to 46% or 43% or whatever. Yeah.
So my bourbon open collection is the same as your entire collection that's open. I got 25 open bourbons.
That's just crazy, isn't it? If you think about it, 25. I mean, when I come over, I have a great time. So
yeah,
I'm not.
You can't remember it.
I'm not doing it down because it's fun
to experiment,
spectacle to behold. And I've been around to kill some of those bottles off, or some of the bottles off that are gone. So this isn't about what we've drunk. It isn't about what our favourites are. It's just about what we've got open. And sometimes I think what I was doing earlier was really therapeutic. And I've forgotten because I haven't done this in a while. I've got 1 cupboard, and in that cupboard I keep all open bottles, and the cupboard could probably hold 30, but I've got some random spirits from the rest of the world and some samples taking up space. So let's say I could get 30 in there. Instead of that, I've got 25 bottles, or maybe I could get 35 and I've got like 4 that are unopened and 25 that you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
I could hold a few more if I cleared the cupboard out. But generally, I don't think I could get more than sort of 35 bottles maximum in that cupboard space. So I've got 25 open now, and it's very therapeutic to take them out, put them all on the side, then look through
Clean them. Kiss each one on the neck.
No, tip them upside down, wet the cork a little bit if they've been sat in the back for a while, and then just put them back in an order clean the cupboard out, and then put them back in an order that makes me feel sort of happy. I bet
you that order changes as well. Do you find that depending on what season it is, what you're fancying at the time? Do you sort of bring certain things forward that you might not have?
Yeah, definitely. And then the ones that you put right at the back, because they're like it's 5 deep or 6 deep. The reality is you can't be bothered to reach all the way to the back.
Yeah.
Unless you really want it, or you've got friends around, and then it's like, take everything out, put everything on the side. So the ones that get stuck at the back are kind of ones I go, well, I don't fancy that in the next couple of months. I'll just put it to the back of the cupboard, right? And then take it out occasionally, like, oh, I didn't realise I had that at the back of the cupboard. That can sit right at the front. So I changed it up today to what I fancy to have at the front, which is based on what I feel like I'm probably going to want to like sip on. And so now I've got at the front that Siren Bay, right?
Yep. That's slap bang front center of one of my Isla shelves.
And I had to look around earlier, and I was like, where's the second bottle of that gone? I started panicking. I know I've got a second bottle somewhere. I was like, where is it? I need to find it. I must locate it. Glengoyne 15, and then that Ben there was 10 that I opened up recently because I'm going to drink that down to halfway. What I often do is drink them down to halfway and then just leave them for a bit until you've got an occasion or friends coming around or something, and then we'll get it down to a point where I'll have to finish it off. Old Pulteney, that port one from Somerton Club, that's a sort of everyday drinker in my opinion, even though it's a bit more expensive.
It was more socially acceptable to like gift half-empty bottles to people.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
Birthday, because I'd be like, oh, I could go out and get you a bottle of 30, 40 quid whiskey, and it's There's some decent stuff there. I could give you £100 bottle that I've drunk half of, and it's amazing, and you're going to love that. And you'd look like, oh, thanks, mate, an open bottle.
I know.
Like cast off, and you're like, no, this is the good stuff.
And you wouldn't have the box, and you'd write in the card, I promise, happy birthday, I promise you I haven't pissed in it.
Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, I'll get you on a security cage from Tesco.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah.
But between whiskey people, that's fine. You can gift somebody like a half-open bottle. I think, kind of.
I think I'd be happy. I'd be more than happy if someone went. For example, if I had a big occasion coming up, Duncan, and you gifted me half a bottle of Loch Lomond 18 that you've had open, I'd be like, oh, thanks, mate.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, okay. I'll
keep that for August.
Keep that in mind. So I've also got in the front row Talisker X Parley, because I just think I love that. And then Springbank Local Barley I put on the front. I'm not sure why I put that on the front. I think it's because...
showy.
Yeah, maybe.
It's nice to have a decent bottle that's like people want.
So just looking what the peated whiskies are that I've got open, right? So Highland Park 17. And also the price of these, when I was going back through, there's a definite theme here, which is that I definitely go for whiskies that I consider to be good value. Yeah. So Highland Park 17-year-old sherry refill, single cask barrique, Pedro Jimenez, 58.1%, £70 from Master of Malt. I consider that to be really good value. I mean, you're not getting a Highland Park single cask strength from Highland Park for what, sub 150 or something? Yeah,
I think I've got one, which is one of my unopened, which is the Whiskey Sponge.
Yeah.
Highland Park. I'm looking forward to opening that.
Yeah, exactly right. Campbelltown Lock, blended malt, batch 1. I think it's about 40 quid. That Macmira single cask. Remember that one we tried that tasted like...
crazy one.
When you hear people drink whiskey and peated whiskey and they don't drink a lot of it, they'll always say, oh, it's a bit petrol-y, right? And people that drink a lot of peated whiskey, you'll very rarely hear them say that. Occasionally you might hear them say, oh, it's kind of got sort of like dirty diesel vibes.
Yeah.
But this is the one whiskey that really genuinely tastes like someone's chucked a grenade in a petrol station. It's just all gone off and there's like petrol everywhere and everything's on fire. That Macmira single cask extra smoke, extra rock from Somerton Club, which is, I think, 40 quid in their like lucky dip. But maybe it was 50 quid. I feel like it was 40 quid. Anyway, the Talisker X Parley, which is 50 instead of 75. Siren Bay, which was £55 in the Master of Malt sale, which we are convinced is an 18-year-old Talisker, right?
It is a Talisker.
It is. Secret Isla, 10-year-old single cask refill, 59 Lefroy, which I think was 40 or 50 quid, probably 50, can't remember.
Yeah.
Loch Lomond Distillery Edition 2, that's, getting down towards a third left now, small batch, 57.7%, 45 quid. Surf Sea and Shore SMWS, this is just my peated ones, right? 60.4%. First Fill Ex Bourbon, always the best, isn't it, with Campbelltown, Glen Scotia? Just like the Antidote to Dull was a 10-year-old First Fill Ex Bourbon. And actually, someone messaged me on Instagram, nice fella, and he said he'd managed to get hold of a bottle of that after listening to it on the pod, which is kind of cool.
I love it. Yeah, I've actually felt quite warm and fuzzy when people are like, well, I bought this because you've mentioned it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, hopefully it's nice.
Oh, and it is. That's an exceptional bottle, that one.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone that's got that is done really well for themselves, I think. So credit to them. Springbank Local Barley, which was probably about £95, I think. 11-year-old 2023, 55.1%. And a Springbank Hamfill, 58.1%, which I'm tentative about now. The bottle's mostly full. And I'm slightly concerned that it might be a bottle that someone's filled up with some other rubbish and not Springbank. So I'm almost reluctant to try. I'm almost reluctant to try it because...
I mean, if you want to swap it for a Japanese blend, mate, I'm more than...
I might even try it. Do you know what? I might try it during today's pod, go and get it. And then just give my evaluation on whether I think it really is Springbank or whether I think somebody's... peated.
Or if it's a large sample of urine.
Yeah, well, it won't be that, but it might just be a different whiskey that someone's poured in a bottle. Because those bottles, you could just get the bottle, tip it out, put the flimsy tape over the top and send it off to auction. So the first couple of bottles I had of Springbank Hamfill, which I'd never really got into in the past, were exceptional. And this one's a bit like, meh. So I'm like, is it batch variation, which it could be, or is it actually just a cheekily refill bottle, which has made me sort of question.
Faking.
Could be. So what about you? You've got 51 bottles, so you can't run through all 51 peated bottles, but have you got favourites in there or some highlights?
Yeah, all the Lefroy Carchus collection, to be fair.
Right.
I pretty much... when did I stop buying them?
Probably because you had too many.
Maybe the last couple of years. Yeah, it was sort of just reaching that point. The price went beyond what they are.
Yeah.
But for a while, I think I had every cart just going back to like 2015 onwards, and some of those were outstanding. Like I loved the Madeira cask, the Fino cask, the Carchus quarter cask was outstanding. Like really good
outstanding.
Stuff. So, outstanding. But probably my favourite peated whiskey of all of them is the Cask Isla from AD Rattray.
Yeah.
Rattray.
Rattray.
And it's a secret island distillery, but it's quite clearly Lafroig, I think.
Okay.
And it is absolutely amazing. So I tasted that at a festival and immediately was like, oh my God, right, I'm buying 6 bottles of that. I was going round to exhibitors and just grabbing them, going, come here, taste this. You need to come over to this stand and try this. And yeah, that was outstanding.
So I'm sensing here, are you a big Lafroig fan then?
I've probably moved away from them slightly.
Right.
Because...
Don't be saying it's a new thing.
Really...
It's a good whiskey. I mean...
No, it's amazing whiskey.
Yeah.
It's just the value element for me. It's like when you've got things flying up like they are, it wasn't on the same extent as Lagavulin, but it still has crept up. But then like the other day, the Lafroig Law was in that Drambusters sale. Yeah. And I was like chewing my fist because I think that was 60 quid because that is really good whiskey. There's some old stuff in there.
Yeah, why didn't you get it? The embargo had ended. So what's the deal? Why are you hanging on so... Oh, no, you haven't because you've crumbled now and you've bought 2 rubbish bottles of Japanese, whatever it is.
Instead, I spent the same money on 2 random bottles of Japanese.
Let's just reflect on what a bad decision that was.
Carried away. Hey, it could be amazing stuff. You never know.
It won't be. It's a terrible decision.
If I think it's nice, it'll be nice. That's what it is. But
well, I want to see you finish all 2 bottles, please.
In one, yeah.
Hey.
And then, other shelves, I've got Torreveig, Ardnamurchin, Highland Park Cask Strength, which I don't really rate, if I'm honest. And then, what else have I got? Obviously, the Siren Bay, the Mactala, some Big Pete. Bowmore 15.
Yeah.
Always. I know some people knock it. I still think that's a really, really tasty whiskey. If you get it at the right price again,
yeah,
absolutely. Like, I wouldn't hold back on getting that. I'd recommend it to anyone. The Loch Lomond Peated Grain, which was from a Southport Whiskey Festival a little while back.
Yep.
That was low 20 quid, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Super high ABV. So much going on. I've still got a couple of those knocking in there.
Yeah, nice.
I did find... I've had a little one earlier of the Lafroig quarter cask.
Yeah.
And when I was going through my collection, I found 2 open bottles of that, both with a neck pour gone. So I was like, oh, you dick. So, yeah. Quite a lot on the peated front, as you would imagine. So there's loads. Like I said, if you popped round, you've got a essentially what could be a whiskey bar just of
peated whiskey. Yeah. Have you got every single distillery on Isla covered, and Talisker and Tobermory, Lechig?
Yes.
So, that's impressive. When they talk about sort of detectives and they go into like a crime scene or whatever, and they say, it's not what you can see, it's what you can't see, or something like that.
I may have some inkling.
Yeah, sure. So, it's what you don't see, or something like that. With my peated whiskey collection, it's what you don't see. There's no Ardbeg because I've drunk it all. I haven't bought any more. And it's the same way. There's no Lagavulin because I've drunk it all over Christmas, and there's no Lechig.
Someone's cleaned this crime scene. Yeah, there's Ardbeg missing.
There's no Lechig because again, I've drunk it all. I had like 3 bottles. I finished them all, and now I'm looking at it, and I had too many bottles already in, so I was like, there's no point buying any more. But as these bottles go down, I would be stocking up on more Lechig, I think, really.
Well, literally, when I open that, like you say, Lechig, Lechig 10.
Lechig.
I went, oh, I forgot I had that at the back.
Nice.
Like, that's now come to the front. So, yeah, there's been a few little secrets I pulled out from the back when I was going through, just literally just before we recorded. I was like, oh, yes. So I'll cover some other little ones that I've pulled out later on as we get to like other sections.
Maybe we should have called the episode the home dusties, because when you've got so many bottles, right, the dust just must sit on them at the back. Or do you regularly get your old feather duster out and give them a clean?
Well, there's not really that much dust in the shed. Oh, summer house.
So,
yeah.
so that's the peated section. So what are we going to do next then? Everyday drinkers or
Everyday drinkers?
I put random.
I haven't really put a lot of thought into what those are
in
terms of like writing them down. But
I've only got a couple. So, I mean, for me, an everyday drinker is basically anything in the collection or anything that is in the anything that's in the cupboard. But what we mean is sort of lower ABV, kind of like your brain's not engaged. You reach in the cupboard, you grab a tumbler, you pour something into it, right? So for me, that's Cotswold Signature, which I got for 25 quid, 46%.
Looking at it now.
It's another one of those ones where I'm a little skeptical that there's really only 6,200 bottles of that because it's been going on for a while. But I buy into it regardless. And that's the one that's first fill bourbon and red wine, casks mixed together. And then also the Glenmurray Phoenix Rising, which is, by the way, the only bottle which was, I've bought two of those, one to gift, and I was gifted one from Glenmurray, which we're very grateful for. But it's the only bottle out of 25 that are open that is gifted. Everything else is purchased by me. So I put on that one for free, but I think it's about £28 or something like that. And whilst I'm thinking of it, I gave some samples of it to friends locally to get their feedback. And one of them, Davey, has let me know in his words, GM Phoenix Rising. I just polished this off. Delicious and easy drinking. I could drink this at any time of the day and I could lose myself in the bottle. It's gone a bit Eminem there.
You definitely could. Could lose myself with the bottle. Yeah. I think if you're having an MC for any whiskey and you finish that, you can lose yourself.
I think what he means is it's just too easy to sip. He said a nice amount of heat for me, but also got some toffee and sweetness, a really pleasant drop. I also gave him some samples of like the Rioja, peated and unpeated, and he said they were banging but quite strong because he doesn't tend to drink cask strength stuff. That's like sort of newer for him. Didn't mention anything about the coconut, so we'll just sweep that one under the carpet. But he said he really, really, really liked it. So a ringing endorsement, I think. And so that when I do get any free whiskey, I usually just divvy it up and give it to people to see what they think.
Yeah.
It feels like karma. Good karma. Give it out.
It is.
See what you get back.
Yeah.
What about you in the everyday drinkers?
Glenlivet, a couple of Glenfiddichs.
Well, like 12, you mean? Or
yeah, the randomly like Glenmorangie X.
What about your?
Which was like
what about your 60s or 70s famous Italian famous grouse? Is that not considered an everyday drinker?
I don't think it is. I've put that in decent whiskey as I was quickly flicking through because it is decent. It is technically.
What about Prohibition? That's an everyday drinker. It's about 20.
It is an everyday drinker, but it is decent.
Yeah, it's decent
because of the price. Yeah, although it falls in both. Really, it is a decent, obviously, drinker. But yeah, I'm sort of talking more. I've got some random like Aldi blends and things which I've used to sort of try and make my own blending concoctions.
Right.
The old Compass box, Asyla, is it? Ailsa?
Don't know.
A few other little bits and pieces. Yeah. Irish whiskies, Hyde, Jameson's, etc., etc.
Right.
Like the normal ones. So yeah, nothing spectacular in my everyday sippers generally, apart from the Prohibition. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. I think I'm going to go and get that Springbank handfill and see if I think it is Springbank or not.
What will you do with the bottles you bought? What will you do with the bottles you bought? What will you do with the bottles you bought? Will you open and drink them? Or will you put them in auction and sell them to me? Put them in auction and sell them to me. Put them in auction and sell them to me for a hefty loss. When I open my wins, it will taste so sweet. Open my wins, it will taste so sweet. Open my wins, it will taste so sweet. Taste like victory. Ooh, whiskies for drinking. Ooh, whiskies for drinking. Ooh, whiskies for drinking. And that is what we do. Honest to a malt lover, sea shanty. Honest to a malt lover, sea shanty. Honest to a malt lover, sea shanty. Who the heck does not?
So then I moved on to sort of fruity, right?
Yeah.
I've got 5 bottles that I consider to be fruity. So that Old Pulteney Coastal Port from Somerton, 46%, very fruity. It's basically fruity, spicy and sweet. Loch Lomond 11-year-old single cask from Royal Whiskies, which I think I got from auction.
Yeah.
Bit of a bargain. I think it was about 75-ish pounds. I got it for about 40, plus fees, obviously. Anyway, it's fantastic. It's like fruit concentrate. It's absolutely incredible. First fill burbs. Glengoyne 15-year-old from Hogshead from Douglas Lane. Douglas Lang. It's a single cask. That's about 70-ish quid. Some sort of deal on. If there's a deal, I'm in, basically. And there's that. Do you remember that 10-year-old Aaron?
Yeah.
That I got for like 20 quid for 2 bottles.
Yeah.
It's a 2015 Aaron as well. It's a 2015 10-year-old. Which would be considered collectible, right? So I've just opened it up.
Obviously.
Who cares? Just, get it down here.
Yeah.
And then an Inchmurin 12-year-old from Loch Lomond, 46%. Very fruity. I think that was about 24 quid with Master of Malt having some outrageous Loch Lomond. I want to categorise it as a giveaway, but obviously they were selling the stuff. Where I stocked up on a whole bunch of Loch Lomond sort of core range. And so they're the ones I've got open in the sort of fruity category. And I was very tempted to open up that Mossburn Foursquare rum, the 12-year-old blended malt, which has been finished in the Foursquare rum casks from Mossburn. That's sort of staring at me, but it's not open, but it will be. And that would also be in the sort of fruity category. I almost opened that today, and then I thought, I realised there was that 15-year-old Glenkinchy Lowland. I was like, I'm definitely opening that. So that's all I've got really in sort of, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, lots of the whiskies have fruity notes in them, but even what I categorise as being like pure, unadulterated fruitiness, that's all that's really in, if you see what I mean. That's non-peated. Like 4 bottles of non-peated fruit magic. Or 5, actually, 5, yeah.
I think my fruitiest whiskey, if that's a term I can use, obviously the Loch Lomond's, some of the distillers' editions have been absolute fruit bombs, but the classic Compass Box Orchard House, which everyone raves about now, which is mega. And randomly, when I bought not long ago, was the Glenmorangie 12, the Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Amazing bottle. Really good. I picked that up from, I think it was like, I want to say Decanter. Was it Decanter or Decant? The Japanese one that you put me onto website.
Oh no, that's not me. That's somebody else. But yeah, Decanter is a website. Yeah.
No, you've bought something off there, and you sent it my way at one point.
Okay, fair enough. I think if you're telling me it's the truth, then I'll go with it.
It was you, yeah, because I had never heard of it before.
Okay.
And yeah, they had they have some real random price drops on there, so it's always worth keeping an eye out. And that one dropped down to, I think it was like 50 quid from 80 or 80 odd.
Yeah.
So I was like, thought it was a misprice, bought 2, and paid off because that was a really, really nice dram.
Yeah.
Chocolatey and fruity all in one, lush. But yeah, I haven't really, without sort of wrapping my mind around things, I haven't got anything that's standing out to me as absolute fruit bombs,
right?
Other than the Loch Lomond's.
Okay, so basically Loch Lomond's fulfilling your fruit bomb. I mean, to be fair, 2 of the 5 that I've got.
5 a day.
Yeah, 2 of the 5 that I've categorised to Loch Lomond as well. So
yeah,
out in a sort of niche there, aren't they? Really, a bit kind of fruity and floral with sometimes a bit of smoking, depending on which one they're on with. Shall we move on then to sherry? Should be a bit more lively for you, sherry. Sherry. So I must have hammered them over the Christmas period because I'm down to 6 open. That's it. I've got Old Guernsey Mannockmore in an Amontillado first fill single cask 13-year-old, which was £47 off Master of Malt, or £48. Give or take a pound. Give or take a pound here. Don't quote me to exact pence. I've got a Tamdu Batch Strength 8 open, which was £58 in some sort of sale. Split. Bought 3 bottles with whiskey with Molly, Ben, and Brian Malt Musings. So we all got a bottle each to get that bargain. So that's a 55.8% cask strength or batch strength Tamdu. Beautiful. That's 10-year-old Ben Nevis. It's quite heavily. It's got quite a lot of sherry cask in it. That 2014 46% one I was talking about on the last Podski. Glengoyne 20-year-old sherry refill 50.5% from Master of Malt. Mm-hmm. Decent, really good. I mean, really, really excellent.
Yeah.
That blended malt, the teaspooned one, which is really a single cask because there's only about 340 bottles. From 44.8% 1993. That's open. That's about a third gone. And I've got a bottle of Hazelburn. I think it's 12-year-old Oloroso cask, which is open as well. So
have you still got the little dog going?
Not little dog. What's it called? Wee Mongrel.
Little brown Wee Mongrel.
Wee Mongrel.
Little. Yeah, but what's the company called? Little brown dog.
Little brown dog.
Yeah.
Have I got it going? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's running. It's
still
running.
alive.
It's running on a little treadmill for me in the corner, like a gopher, just running away,
Yeah.
powering at least half of where we live.
Yeah.
No, so
that's one of my favourite sherry bombs within mine.
So I've got
I think.
a bottle left of 1 and 2. I've drunk 3 or 4 bottles of 1 and
Bloody
2
hell.
bottles of 2. So I've kept 1 for sort of because 1 was exceptional. 2 was pretty good. The PX one wasn't as good as number 1. I kind of felt like number 1 was really had more sort of depth to it. It had those kind of marshmallow notes on it, which are really hard to get in a lot of whiskies, and other stuff going on. So 2 was just a bit more sort of a fruity sherry bomb, right? So I've kept a bottle of each, and I won't be opening them anytime soon because I would like to open them in later life. So
to reminisce.
Yeah, unless obviously I get killed by a snake or something. What was it?
In which your collection immediately
Or
comes to
I
me.
fall down the stairs or something like that, in which case, collection goes to whoever gets around here first, right?
Well, I think as co-host of this podcast, I get first dibs on everything.
Oh, yeah, nailed on. You have to fight my wife for it. But yeah, fair enough. So that's all I've got open in sherry, just 6 bottles. What about you, Tupads?
So I think obviously the best. Well, I say obviously, you don't know. Within my collection, what I have held on to and adore is the Glendronach 18. They're the 2017 ones. I think Jason Whiskey Wise put me onto the fact they were going to stop being produced, basically.
Right.
Or there was going to be a massive price hike, rather than stop being produced. And they were the last years of when there was that gap in when there was a gap in production.
Gap in production, yeah.
So that 18 is actually, I think, 22 or 23 years old.
This is, hang on, like I zoned out.
Glendronach.
Yeah, Glendronach, right. So you've got one of the 2018s, yeah, open.
I've got one open and I've got a load in the cabinet.
Why wasn't that getting poured for me last time I came around? I love a bit of the GD 18. That's so tight of you. Now I know that was available.
You didn't see it was there.
Very disappointed.
It's there. It's in the cabinet.
Oh, well, save it. I'm coming around to drink it.
So I got loads.
Just don't put it on recording. Just hold up your hand to tell me how many you've got. How many have you got? Just hold up your hand. 15.
You're not having them, by the way.
15. He hasn't got 15. He hasn't.
That some are promised to other people.
Well,
unfortunately, and they've probably forgotten the promise, but it is still there for them.
Okay, how about I take that one of them off your hands? We'll talk about it separate in the pod. Forget the other people. You don't do the pod with the other people. You do it with me. Forget them.
No. These are Welsh boys.
Let's put a window on it.
They're expats.
If they don't contact you within 5 working days to claim their bottle or whatever price it was you agreed with them, I presume sort of RRP-ish, then I get first dibs on one of them. Yeah.
And that was
I'm feeling
RRP
on the spot
then.
listener competition here. That's what I'm feeling. There was a time when Tindrum Whisky, or Tindrum, however you say it, they were doing them for they just started giving them away for like £82 before all the massive increases.
Mate, I picked them up for $54 on Amazon.
That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That makes me feel about the Tam to 18. I mean, it just goes to show.
Well, I don't even know what the retail is now.
Look, it's like 140 quid-ish or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, and that is for 18.
Yeah, it's not.
This was due to that gap in production that they had.
It was like 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
As much as
160 quid on Tindrum right now.
I've got a bottle of the 21, or maybe a couple of bottles of the 21, which went all the way up to if you got it in the right year, it was sort of
Parliament.
27. Yeah, the Parliament. It was like 27 years old, right, or something like that. And I haven't opened it yet, but I'm definitely opening it because it's not.
Get into
it's
it.
not. It's not.
I'll
worth
consider
not
giving you a
opening.
bottle when I see an empty Parliament.
Oh, but I've already had one Parliament. I've already had one.
I've never seen it.
Right, brilliant. So if you haven't seen it, I definitely haven't drunk it. It's official.
Basically,
right, yeah.
Yeah.
all those years when I was drinking whiskey, when you were still sipping lager and having fights down the local pub, right? Like an uncouth, uncultured so and so.
Hey. Just because I advanced rapidly on my whiskey journey and Some would say surpassed, but hey,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not, Mike, it's not a competition. It's just drinking.
But
So
yeah,
do you want to?
one of the ones I mentioned earlier when I said bottles I found I kind of forgotten about, Glenfarclas.
Yeah.
Have you got many open? Or have you got any?
I've
in
got
the collection?
none open. Have I had some bottles in the last 2-3 years? Yeah, definitely. I used to drink a lot more of it back in the day.
Yeah.
Before you developed whiskey chops, I was drinking Glenfarclas. These days, I kind of feel like, because it's a lower ABV, so I used to drink more of it back in the day. But sometimes clubs like Southport, you've got some Southports, I think, haven't you? Which are like cask strength, a bit livelier. Yeah.
As I sit back down, my knees and back are gone.
Yeah.
Literally what I'm grabbing now. So I think we might have tried this when you came over at some point. So it was a Glenfarclas 20-year-old.
Very nice.
One of 300 bottles, 53.5%. Absolute beast. For you, Jeff, this is a whiskey slap happening right now.
Oh, yeah. Jeff Whiskey.
And then also found
There was one.
found the Glenfarclas branded it as double casks. It was cask 435 and 456. They just literally dumped the two barrels together. And it's a 2007 bottling. And that was Lara's boss. Doesn't drink at all. Like teetotal. And he's like, I've been given some whiskey ages ago. I don't even know if I still got it. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, what is it? I was like, a little classic Speyside Glenfarclas. And that's 51.1%. And that is one of my favourite sherry whiskies. Like this particular bottling is outstanding. So, yeah, I'd forgotten I had it. So that's now being brought right to the front.
Yeah. Just on that, when they say the sort of double cask, it's a bit disappointing that in whiskey, they don't do the sort of same thing that they do in sort of men's razors when they just keep like innovation. It's a bit like with deodorants. Like you'll notice, like if you roll back 10 years, it was like 24 hours protection. And then before you knew it, it was like 3 years later, they would developed 48-hour protection. And now some of them are like 72-hour protection. It's the same with men's razors. So they started off with single blade and it was like double blade, triple blade, quadruple blade, quintuplet blades.
A few moments later.
What I was going to say was double cask. You don't get many sort of triple casks or quadruple casks. I'd love to see it going in that direction where it's like.
Well, you probably do, but they're just called like single malts
in the marketing. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. It's just a daft point. Anyway, this Springbank is a Springbank. I can confirm definitely. I think it was just a bit wild to start off with, but it actually has the Springbank profile. It's salty and
heavy on the iodine.
Yeah, yes, it is heavy on the iodine. It has a sort of almost a sort of slightly meaty, heavy kind of fish note to it.
So what we're saying is, whoever pissed in that bottle had a barbecue on the beach.
No, I think what it is it might just be like the last two probably had like a slightly older whiskey in them or slightly more refined. This one's a bit younger and wilder. It's just a bit crazy. It feels a bit more in the sort of new makey direction. So maybe it's only 5 years old max and it's quite strong. It's like 58%. But anyway, it's a bit wild, but it's still got that kind of creaminess on the palate, and it's quite fiery and peppery.
Your face is a picture there.
Yeah, but it's definitely Springbank. It's just...
it's a wee beastie, boy. Oh, my God.
Wee beastie, eh? Rora.
I forgot about the wee beastie.
What about it? Oh, the 30, 20, what was it, 30 quid or something?
Oh,
£27, £25?
Balls.
It might still be there, Mike.
It might still be. I'm going down tomorrow.
What store was it again?
Not telling you. Just, but in fact, I'm editing this, and it's like when I was.
Hang on, it was
Seven Oaks.
Tesco. Seven Oaks in Tesco's. Yeah. Okay. Well, race you.
I could have got like nearly 3 bottles of Wee Beastie instead of this Japanese blend I got carried away on auction for.
Did you want to finish off your? Yeah, that's a really dumb decision. Did you want to finish off your sherry, your highlights of your sherry whiskey? You were onto.
So that was kind of it. I mean, my decent bottles I've marked up. I've got 83.
You haven't
open.
mentioned Tamty 15. How can you not mention that in your decent bottles?
It's literally next to me.
You poured it on ice cream the other day.
Exactly.
Or you had it in a milkshake or something. Like,
it's all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Come by it.
So
I think Bowmore 15's better.
I had a look at other bottles that are close to hand in the cupboard that I haven't quite opened, but that I've earmarked to open. And I've got a Milk and Honey from Somerton Club 4-year-old. I've got Campbelltown.
Not the best whiskey in the world, or is that a different one?
No. A special edition, some sort of special edition. It's been finished in a mixture of casks, including Islay casks. So it should be quite interesting. And there's a Campbelltown 8-year-old, which I think, I can't remember if that was the first or second one from Master Malt. So it's either Glen Scotia or, maybe it's the Glen Scotia.
You're looking at me, I don't know.
No, my mind's gone blank.
My mind's telling me nothing.
It'll come back.
But my body is also telling me nothing.
Telling me nothing. Glen Scotia 2022 Festival Edition PX. I bought a second bottle of that from auction, I think, for about 45, 50 quid. And I've also got a bottle of SMWS Raisin Toffee Jam, which I think is number 2. So that's number 2 is Glenlivet?
Don't know. Why don't you have a look on
our
the
website?
Honest to Malt website? There's a very useful guide
Yeah, I'm just
to
checking
the
now.
SMWS codes.
Yeah, it's Glenlivet. I was right. Yay me!
I've just poured that Glenfarclas double cask.
Anyway, that's a 16-year-old.
Nice.
So I've been looking forward to opening that. I was going to open it over Christmas, but in the end, I opened and finished a few other bottles instead. You can't drink them all at the same time. Yeah. So that's kind of all I've really got open, and then definitely, a bunch of closed bottles lined up. Right, hence the bottling buying embargo that we went through.
I mean, I have got about 9 SMWS bottles open.
Right.
For clarity, 2 have been gifted from SMWS. Thank you. I still haven't opened your advent calendar thing. Maybe next year.
Save it for next Christmas, Mike. Yeah. Do it. Do it. Pick a random period during the year. And then just start posting on social media every single day. That would generate way more interest. In the summer, please.
The 12 days of August.
Yeah. Please do it in the summer. Please.
Noted. Yeah. The anti hashtags, as I like to do.
Yeah.
Go against the crowd.
Yeah, do it exactly 6 months after Christmas. Right.
Yeah. I've got a whole shelf of Springbank and Caden Heads stuff related. So that's about 16 bottles. What else have I got? Bourbons, like I said, 25 bourbons, loads of Jack Daniels Gold, various Blantons. What I'm lacking is some Jim Beam Bookers.
Yeah.
And you've got Bookers, and I'm very jealous.
There's some Bookers in the current SMWS auction. Just saying.
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Is it cheap, though?
Yeah, well, I haven't checked, but there's 3 bottles of it or 4 bottles of it, which generally means you can get it at a lower price. So by the time this comes out, the auction will still be on. So
okay,
everyone can compete against each other. Whilst I've still got a bottle open, I'm not really too bothered. But if I didn't have one, I have to say, of all the bourbons that I've tried, that's one of my favourites.
Yeah.
It's magic.
That was one of the drams.
It's absolute magic.
That got me into it. If you want to, do you binge watch TV series on Netflix or whatever?
Everyone does, of course. I mean,
Have
I
you
don't.
watched-
Hang on, define binge watching. I won't watch 12 episodes in a row. I might watch 2 episodes in an evening and watch 2 episodes every evening for 3 days to finish a 6-parter.
Yeah,
I don't mean I'm not like student levels. Like when you were a student, if you went to university or you were younger, and you had free time.
Yeah, no, I can.
You
switch into
just spend the
student
whole
mode
day
quite
watching
quickly.
TV.
Yeah,
in a dark room.
I can
right?
dip into student mode, forget life exists, and just
do you
get
remember,
into something.
Do you remember the TV series 24? I remember just going. I was just like everyone was obsessed with watching that all in a day.
Yeah, it just took ages to watch.
Yeah, and also in that series,
It's like a whole day.
no, but there's such a hole in it because America's such a big place, and they were just able to get everywhere so quickly, and that just wouldn't be possible. He'd like get in a helicopter and fly somewhere, or get in a car and drive somewhere. And the reality is,
Can you imagine how shit the series would be?
series
if
would
you're
just
like,
be him going,
so
"I'm
I
sorry, I
was
just
like,
can't make it there in time."
I've got a flight to LA right now. Get me on a flight.
That's 5 hours gone out of 24 hours.
There's one connecting flight. It's okay. Just I need to get on the flight. Yeah, the flight's been cancelled. There's another one tomorrow morning. And it's like,
don't worry,
24 hours
we've paid for your
is
hotel.
him sat just waiting.
Yeah, we've paid for your hotel,
dicking
sir. It's
about.
okay. Just relax. Just relax. Go to your hotel. Have a nice time. Have a couple of beers next to the airport.
No, I was saying if you want to binge watch a series and you want to get into bourbon, watch Justified.
Okay.
It is about sort of a sheriff in the States, and it's set down in the South.
Mm-hmm.
They're just drinking bourbon all day, basically. It's class.
Okay,
so
sounds good.
Just have a gander.
What's it on?
That will. I think it's either Netflix or Prime, one of the two. But Justified, really good series.
Nice.
And if you want to if you've got a couple of hours to yourself, get yourself a bottle of Wild Turkey or Jim Beam White Label. If you want to go fancy, get yourself a Booker's or even a Jim Beam Black. I think you can get now on Amazon, the latest ones, and just enjoy and feel like you're there. It's good.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I just asked myself the question internally, and I think it's impossible to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway in case you think like you're able to answer it. But do you feel like you could pick like 3 favourite open bottles that you have? Or is that just too impossible?
No, because again, the way I work with whiskey is like I want to try, when something new comes out that I know I will like, I want to buy that bottle. It's the FOMO effect to an extent, but I will open it, have a few, put it away, go and I'll look forward to going to that again, and I'll forget about it. Same as this Glenfarclas, it's like lovely dram. Completely forgot I even had it until I just did this.
Slightly over half a bottle left as well. Looks good.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm going to be getting into that. Like now I've found it again.
Yeah.
So it will be depending on what's in my brain that I know is open and there.
Yeah.
Seasons, what I'm looking for. Again, I would have guessed, if you'd have said how many bottles of peated whiskey have you got, I'd have said 20, 25 max.
51 actually.
And I got 51.
You could have a little section and call it Area 51 in your cupboards. Yeah.
Oh, what? Yeah, but what if I finish one?
Area 50, just change it. 51.
Yeah, what's that?
I don't know. Get another one. Open another one. It'll be fine.
See, you've created another problem now.
Keep it a constant 51 open peated bottles.
But to be fair, so we sort of briefly touched on it before. I think although we've got that many open, I'm going to suggest I've probably got another maybe 70 closed.
Right, okay, it's quite a lot.
In a cupboard.
Yeah.
In between my whiskey cabinets.
Yeah,
I don't even know what's in there.
I don't know how.
I've got no idea.
I don't know how many I've got lined up, but I had a quick sort of scooshy tally the other day. It was definitely over 30. So, I could have 55 plus open, but I don't. Yeah. I'm mostly because of the limited space in the cupboard. Right? I don't want to have them everywhere.
But you know what?
I don't want the shelves like you've got. I like having a closed cupboard where you can't stare at them all the time.
But there's spaces appearing,
gaps,
where I'm getting rid of bottles, and that's annoying me.
Right, fill it up with.
Yeah, but I can't. No one can maintain the purchasing I've done over the last 10 years.
Just leave empty bottles in there. Hey, I'm gonna have a crack at my favourite 3 bottles that are open. I think I'm gonna have to go with one of the Scotias, maybe Surfsea and Shore or Antidote to Dole, over the Springbank Local Barley. Controversial. Springbank Local Barley is excellent, but I think I probably prefer them slightly. They just don't have the FOMO element that the Springbank carries. And then I'm going to go for... I'm going to go for something... And then...
Dude, where's my car? What a film.
What a film. So good. And then... No, and then. There's no and then.
No, and then!
and then.
No, and then!
I know there's like... That Hazelburn 12-year-old Oloroso cask is magical. Like loads of strawberry notes. It's like they really got it right. And I'm really hesitant to have any more of that because it's about halfway down. So it's one of those ones I'm kind of going, save it. And then for a special occasion. And then we'll smash it. So maybe I might chuck that in there. Otherwise...
But don't fall in that trap. Like I said the other day with the Kilome and Sanig. The end of the bottle was rubbish. Not rubbish, but nowhere near the bottle neck pour on the next one. So... Yeah. You just don't know what's going off that shelf.
Then it would either be that Highland Park 17-year-old, or I think maybe that Siren Bay. I really love that Siren Bay. Like, I know we've banged on about it, but I think I've talked about 25 bottles, and I'm pretty sure that's in my favourite sort of few bottles in the cupboard. It's that good.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
Would that have been... I think it came... Did it come after, like, when we chose Whiskies of the Year last year? Did we do that? I can't remember.
Whiskies of the Year, yeah. And we haven't done the Lamp Awards yet either, so,
Yeah. Oh, that's... Yeah, we need to do that.
It's all organisation, isn't it? Get the secretary to do it. Fine.
Yeah.
Fernando, our secretary, he'll do it for us.
Me? That's you.
Hang on, Fernando.
Me.
Yeah. Can you just write that down? Yeah, please. Yeah. And can you get me another bottle from the cupboard? Cheers, Fernando.
Barley and Leo are in charge of that, and it's... Nothing gets done.
Yeah. Slackers that they are. Anyway, it's definitely not this Springbank Handful. It's a bit too young and wild, I think, this one. It's good, but not amazing. It's definitely Springbank, not nothing else. Aside from that, maybe that Loch Lomond 11-year-old single cask from Raw My Whiskey. That's pretty fantastic. There's a few. Yeah. I've got a few favourites. But anyway, I look forward to what's going to get open next rather than what's already open, which is the dilemma of being a whiskey fan, isn't it? You look in the cupboard and you go, yeah, I've tried them all. I like them,
maybe,
but I'd quite like to open something else.
Grab 5 random bottles each.
Right.
Completely random. Post it and let the people decide what we open next.
Yeah, we could do that. 3 bottles each. Let's do 3. That's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We'll do and then whatever they say, we'll open on the next pod. Deal?
Yeah.
Deal ski. Well,
even if it's like a banger, it's getting open.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
We don't care.
That's true. We don't. Well, thank you very much for listening from me. Remember, if you like the podcast, give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. Be that person. Maybe let us know. You might even get a sample in the post to say thanks. So, yeah.
You paying off.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's worth the postage.
I love it. Yeah, from me, thanks for listening. That was a very heavy whiskey orientated episode. So if you're not a huge whiskey fan, thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah.
And
maybe go make yourself a whiskey milkshake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, try it.
I really love those whiskey milkshakes, Mike. I'm just saying. They were...
Mate, there was some random, we didn't get many positive feedbacks on that last episode.
Hang on, we should just, whilst you're having a chinwag, let's just look at the live survey and where it got to on what people answered. God, I can't even remember. Why did I not write that?
Is it a milkshake if it has avocado in it? 33% say yes.
Yeah, but that's too small. Sorry, go on then.
67% say no.
Okay, so it's a smoothie. Fair enough. And
it's a smoothie. You made a smoothie.
There was another one we ran, which was whiskey milkshakes. What say you? And we asked, yes, I would. Yes, I have. No way, Jose. Combined, about 40% said yes, I would, or yes, I have. 30% said yes, I would. 12% said yes, I have. So we are whiskey royalty, Mike. We're trend setting. This is like, if you're a burger joint out there and you've got 100 burger joints over the UK, get us in. We'll sort out your whiskey milkshake menu for you. And then 58.98%, or about 59%, there was about 100 votes. Those people said no way, Jose. So about 40%, it's about 40 to 60. So 40% of people are cool and would try a whiskey milkshake. 60% of people stuck in the mud. Open your minds.
Come on, people.
Open your minds.
Try things.
Yeah. Give it a go.
Maybe this is what Jura was made for, not for drinking, it's for milkshakes.
Yeah. Milkshake. The thing is, I genuinely really like them. Like, especially, obviously, the one with the Lumbee bourbon in it. I mean, it's incredible.
The Maltese Eagle was delightful.
That's what I mean.
Absolutely delightful.
The salted caramel ice cream one with the Talisker X-Pilot. I'm going to make that again. That's how good that was. Well,
I think
incredible.
Maybe we should branch out into tapping up some barbecue companies for when all the festivals come in the summer. Yeah. And we could just go and knock up whiskey milkshakes on the side of a barbecue thing and charge extortionate prices, retire and build a distillery.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the plan.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, like I said, thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.